Right guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to change a plate heat exchanger on a Worcester Bosch Junior. Now, first of all we've got to get all of this rubbish out of the way because it is never cleared for you, is it? Then after that I've got to remove the panel in here to get access into the pipework because I'm going to show you a little trick on a quicker way to do it inside 1 hour, which is massive. And then that top panel, and then we need to get the casing off. We've got a screw left, right, and top, left and right. Now these are a terrible casing if I'm going to be honest. Right, so now we've got access. I'm going to try and get the cupboard door off, but it doesn't look like I'm able to get the door off, so I'm going to have to persevere, isolate the boiler and do safe isolation on the electrics. Make sure you're a registered gas engineer if you're working on it. Now I'm going to get into this, and this is the drain point in the Worcester, this big fat bit here. Connect your hose onto it and just push it and turn it left. I'm going to disconnect the condensate. It's just going to disconnect for that clip there, and we're going to spin it round and pop it out. Very easy. And then I'm going to shut the main off. Now this is the important bit. As you can see here, hose on, twist it left, and then just take it outside and drain it. Shut the flow and return underneath if you don't want to drain the whole system down. As you can see, we're there. So what we're going to do is we're going to look up. Yep. Drain down. And there's the screws either side of the plate. There's only 2 screws that hold this in. So we're going to isolate the flow and return as I said previously. And then disconnect the cold nut on the main side going into the boiler. You can also do this via the hot side if you want to. So we're going to cut it here and pull this pipe out the way, which is going to allow us to get our hand up the back and pull that plate heat exchanger out without actually stripping out the pump, the manifolds, etc, etc. So then I'm going to disconnect the 2 screws either side, and I'm going to push the plate out a wee bit and let it drain into a bucket because there's always back pressure in the water. But if you lift the diverter head off, or there's something in the boiler that you can lift off that'll drain it quicker, but I just do it this way because I don't want to disturb any components. As you can see, I'm getting my hand up the back and I'm going to pull it down through that gap where I disconnected the cold pipe, and it is absolutely perfect. Perfect spacing to get that out. Look at that. And you're going to want to make sure you get all the old washers that held the plate heat exchanger in out. And then we're going to put the new ones in. And a wee tip is plate heat exchangers, arrows always point to the right, so you can't get them back to front. I'm going to shut the drain hose, make sure I don't forget about that when filling up and flood the place. And I'm going to get silicone grease and I'm going to dip my washers in the grease. Just like that, Bosch. Makes it nice and sticky. Pop my hand up the back of the manifold, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place them in, and because it's sticky with grease, they don't fall out. And then what I can do is I can remove the basin and get the new plate heat exchanger, as I said, right hand side. You see the arrows pointing right? Slide it up like that, up the back. And actually, I managed to get this in first time. It was a lot easier than what I genuinely thought it was going to be. I'm just trying to position the camera better so that you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Just get your hand in the middle of it so it's balanced. Lift it up. And then it'll catch.
No way.
And then just get your left arm in, hold it back, and get your Phillips screwdriver and tighten up the screws either side. Now I leave the screws in so that I don't have to push them in later on. So as you can see, I've left them in. I'm just going to screw them up till it's tight. I don't want to over tighten this, just tight enough that I can fill it up and check if it's leaking. And if it does have a wee drip, I can tighten it some more, but if you over tighten it and crack it, you're screwed. Now next up, I need to get this cold feed fitted back. So I'm going to tighten it back into the boiler so it's not got any movement, and I'm going to adjust my cold pipe coming up, and I'm going to press in a new fitting. Press guns are brilliant. Now I'm going to turn the main back on, but as you can see it's pissing water from the packing gland. I'm going to get my shifter on the nut of the packing gland and I'm going to tighten it. Bosch. Sorted. Now we'll get the water back on and we can establish the hot water side of the heat exchanger is fine. I always do the main first because you've no choice because you need it to fill up the boiler. And then you're going to do the heating side right after it. These are always fidgety, aren't they? If you know, you know. That was stuck, couldn't get it. But we eventually freed it off and filled the system up to 1.5 bar. And then put the condensate trap, slips it back in, and then pop it back round to the left hand side and clip it in. So I just give it a wee knock, and you'll hear it clip off right there. Connect the wee drain hose back up to it. Turn the power back on and let it purge through, and then top the pressure up again once it's purged. You can give it a wee top up. Run your hot water, test your heating, make sure everything's all good, make sure you've got no leaks. I'd done this in around 1 hour and 5 minutes and you couldn't even tell I was here.